everybody, welcome to Rachel's Reviews, and today we are talking 2022 animation. This is a little bit late in coming to y'all, but I hope you enjoy it. And I was like previewing what's coming up in the year. Hopefully this year will be like a teensy bit more stable than the last 2 years, but we'll see. I'm Rachel Widener, and Larry's here with me.
Hi.
Yes.
And thank you for inviting me on for this.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We always have such a good time together, and hopefully maybe sometime this year we can actually get together like we've done in the past. We'll see.
Maybe I'll feel better about every time I try to travel for an event or something, it ends up getting canceled, and then I'm just kind of there. Maybe this year's the year.
Fingers crossed. Talk about since we are late in this, there were 3 releases in January. I've only watched one of them. I'm behind because of Sundance. But we have Hotel Transylvania, Transformania, which if people want to hear our detailed thoughts on, you can check out the Francast because of Fran's Drescher's involvement. We did a deep dive basically into that movie. You should check it out. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It finally released. It was like the everlasting question mark of when this thing is actually debuting.
And I stand for Blobby.
Yeah.
Blobby was the best. That joke made me laugh. So I love that. That was so good. And then we have Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. So this just premiered on Disney Plus yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
No.
It looks really bad. The animation looks terrible.
I thought it was a series at first. So I was a little bit forgiving because I thought it was a series. And I was like, okay, I can understand the animation isn't great. And then it was like, no, it's a film just on Disney Plus. And I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a series too. I agree. And I don't know. I don't really like Buck Wild that much as a character. So it doesn't excite me that much.
When are we gonna let the Ice Age films just rest? Disney, just let them go. You absorbed Blue Sky, just let them go. Let this be the farewell.
Yeah,
the cast isn't even in. Ray Romano's not. It's like let it go.
It makes me sad because basically Ice Age was the thing that kind of kept Blue Sky going, and then so for it to be kind of, I know, its legacy when they had so many fun films. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
I just hope that they don't have the Neil deGrasse Tyson weasel in the movie. That's the worst.
Yeah.
So please. Anyway, not that excited for this one. We'll have like 1 to 4 excitement levels. So I would give this a 1.
Yeah, this is a 1. I'm not excited at all.
So then there's The House. This also came out this week. I haven't had a chance to see it. I saw the trailer. It's an anthology film across different eras. A poor family, an anxious developer, and a fed-up landlady become tied to the same mysterious house in this animated dark comedy. What do you think? Did you see the trailer for this?
I haven't seen the trailer. I actually didn't know much about it until I was kind of looking up the animated films of the year. It has really good reviews, and it looks cool. And that kind of an animated anthology is an interesting. I always like when animation gets to be a part of something a little bit different, and we don't really get too many anthologies for our animation. I'm definitely was intrigued as soon as I found out about it. I'm actually shocked, especially from Netflix, that I haven't really seen much about it. But
and I love the fact that Netflix is becoming this sort of home for stop motion animation. They had 2 shorts over the holidays, Robin, which was so cute. You totally, even though you're not a Christmas person, it's so cute. It's about a bird that gets raised by mice, so he thinks he's a mouse. It's so cute.
All right.
Yeah, I loved it. And then they also had a Shaun the Sheep Christmas short in December, which was really cute because Sean can't help but be adorable.
I mean, yeah.
It's called
When
Sean
is the Wallace and Gromit movie coming to Netflix?
I believe so. I think so. Yeah. And the Chicken Run definitely is.
And Chicken Run, yeah. I just appreciate, because I read Netflix has a thing of like they have a 6 feature film like requirement. So every year they're going to be releasing at least 6 feature animated films to Netflix, whether acquired or from Netflix studios.
Yeah.
And as much as grief as I know I give streaming services for their output, some of that other stuff Netflix be putting out, every time I watch a like Netflix original type of movie, I'm always like, this is why I don't watch too many of these.
You mean He's All That didn't do it for you? You and I didn't watch that.
Oh my gosh, what a mistake of life. But they do provide for a chance for really interesting stuff. And I think particularly right now with Netflix, yeah, we get stuff like that weird extinct donut animal movie, coming out, which I just skipped. I couldn't get myself to watch it when I was getting ready to do my animation ranking. I was like, you know what? No, we're good. I don't need to see it. But it also opens up and allows for the Mitchells versus the Machines to come forward. It allows for these really interesting projects. Like you said, so much stop motion has been coming here, and Leica has been the major studio, and we see that obviously theatrically Leica just bleeds money. So to have a place for them to go and have a streaming service that's willing to finance them or willing to pick them up from studios is really great.
Yeah, I ask in my female film critics panel, I typically ask, are you optimistic about the state of cinema or pessimistic? And it might sound, I don't know, strange to be optimistic in this day and age with, theaters closing and stuff like that. But I think there is room for a little bit of optimism that like mid-range drama, mid-budget drama has a spot for it that it wouldn't have had before. And also, sort of more niche things like you're saying with stop motion animation or, sort of smaller projects, that there is a kind of a place for those things that for a long time was just only during Oscar season was the only time that you got like a mid-budget drama at the theaters, so I think it is exciting, and especially with Aardman, that they had just such good films and nobody saw them, nobody watched them, which was so sad, and so now there's a spot for them, which makes me happy.
For sure. So I definitely want to check out The House, even though I wasn't really aware of it until recently. I'd say probably like a 3. It sounds
same with
really
me.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3. And so then we have Turning Red all the way until March before we get something new, which is crazy. And
Sync 2 is primed to just bump them numbers up, even going to streaming.
It just opened in England, in UK, and one of my friends was showing every seat in the theater.
I saw it. So they did like that preview day in November where you could just buy the tickets and go.
Yeah.
My theater was packed for that. Unfortunately, they couldn't unlock the film, so we were waiting there for like 45 minutes after showtime. A family-filled movie, like kids everywhere. I was like, this is not the movie to have problems having these kids try to be patient. But our theater was packed.
Yeah, I mean, I give a lot of flack to Illumination for their lack of originality. I feel like they're sort of the McDonald's of animation. They produce like somewhat tasty, but movies that never take any kind of risk, right? Yeah. But that are popular and make a lot of money. But they are such a well-run company. They know how to make money. They keep the budgets low. They keep they promote their films very well, and I do admire that. And I watched a panel at Annecy last year of Illumination, and it did seem, I mean, they're obviously trying to make it seem like an incredible place to work, but they were effective, because I was like, wow, that's impressive. Like the way I was like, oh, it made me feel more positive about Illumination. But if they are an impressive company, just from a
I mean, and of course, Raya was one of the very first movies coming back. So, that Disney had like a struggle to get Raya in theaters and actually profitable. But Encanto just over November was the biggest animated release. And so for them to beat out, Pixar and Disney in a year and everybody else with Sing 2, I mean, that is very impressive. And they released it, of course, right at Christmas time, which is a great time for them to release this film, but in a void. They literally have 3 months basically as the only animated offering on the market until Turning Red finally comes out, and now is still streaming. So I mean, it'll probably, I don't know if it'll still be in theaters at that point, but I mean, it just turned out to be a great spot to release their film.
It's true. But we have Turning Red on the 11th. It's a 13-year-old girl named Mei Lee turns into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited. Of course, we got the announcement that this was going to be a Disney Plus exclusive. And I kind of understand why they did. I don't like that they did it, but I understand why. First of all, when you see how many views Luca got, well over like 2 billion more than the next competitor, and which was Moana, surprisingly. That surprised
Moana 2 years in a row at number 2.
Yeah. But it surprised me that Luca did so much better, because it is kind of a little bit of a slower, like it's not a jam-packed action movie. So I was kind of surprised that it did so much better than than everybody else.
I'm also really interested to see, like, I don't think we had the data obviously for that, and it came out so late in the year for like Encanto, because I feel like it did okay, it did well enough in theaters, but the life Encanto has taken on since it debuted on Disney Plus, I mean, it just turned into like pretty much this like little animated phenomenon. Like that's all anybody talks about. The songs have blown up on the charts. Like it, ever since it debuted on the streaming service, it's gotten so much bigger than it did upon its theatric release.
Well, and I have to say, I felt so vindicated, because we walked out of Encanto. I was there with my friend Jen and Stanford, and I was like, man, we talk about Bruno, that we don't talk about Bruno. That is such a good song. I was like dancing. I'm like, this is, and they were like, you're weird. That wasn't that great of a song. And I'm like, no, you wait and see. Right? I'm like, yes, I am weird, but that song is going to be a hit. And it was.
Number 2 on Billboard right now.
I beat Let It Go. I felt so smart.
I mean, that was, and I have to say, the funny thing about, we don't talk about Bruno, I think, is that that's what's different, is parents, I think, are helping to really fuel. We don't talk about Bruno.
That's true.
Whereas I think Let It Go was mostly kids, because parents got so sick of it or whatever. Now I think parents are right there helping push it. And then Surface Pressure just broke into the top 10 as well.
Yeah, that made me happy
for
too.
An animated film to have 2 songs in the top 10 of the Billboard chart is crazy. But I'm the only thing I'm discouraged about, and it's been the topic, is that Disney seems to only be doing this with Pixar films. And they've become the streaming brand at this point. It seems like Soul, we all understood it was in the middle of a pandemic. What are they gonna do? So Soul, okay.
Yeah.
Then though, they release Raya into theaters and on Disney Plus Premium, and then for Luca they go back to
Cruella.
Streaming only. Cruella also gets both a theatrical and Disney Plus, premiere, and then Luca's for free again. And then you're like, oh, and then we get Encanto back into movie theaters, and then Turning Red goes back into streaming for free. So it just feels like that's why it feels targeted toward Pixar. And that's why people are like, what is going on over at Disney? Because they're not getting, like, Cruella, in my eyes, seemed like a good streaming option, because I feel like people weren't really all that, I don't know, we're sick of these live action movies. I enjoyed Cruella enough, but
same.
it seemed like a good option to be like, let's just put it straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah. I think the way that they're seeing it, first of all, you have the great views from Luca, but then also the fact they just don't have hardly anything coming to Disney Plus exclusive in this whole like 6 months of 2022. I mean, we did our preview, me and Ryan, just of January and February, and there was only Buck Wild. That was it. I mean, they have Eternals coming, but that's already been released, so it's not exclusive. I mean, they don't even have. I mean, they've got the Boba Fett show, but they don't have anything until Moon Knight. I don't think that's a like serious release. And last year, when you think of it, they had WandaVision right now. They had like a bunch of stuff, and so they are really hurting for content. And one of my friends was saying, oh, well, it was hard to film or whatever in 2021. And I'm thinking, Hallmark literally made 47 Christmas movies in 2021.
Well, the thing, I mean, yes,
you're telling me that Disney, which is like way bigger than anything Crown Media is, couldn't pump out some just like movies to have on
for streaming. Like that's the other thing. Let's not say Disney is above pumping out random content for streaming. Home Alone or Home Sweet Home or whatever that was. Come on. They will pump out some mess to dump onto streaming service. So they could also, with animation, yes, it takes time obviously to animate the film itself, but COVID, it's very easy to remote in the voice talent, to get the vocal take at their house or wherever at a studio near them by themselves. You don't need a whole team. So it's one of the safest options for the talent, at least. And then even with the animators, that's a job that can be done remote heavily.
And they could be purchasing films. And I mean, they did Timmy Failure. They purchased that, and that was, in my opinion, great. Even though you refused to see it, but they purchased it. They purchased it at
The King's Daughter, and was like, this should have been on the Disney Channel. So maybe they should have purchased that mess and put it on Disney.
Which one?
The King's Daughter.
Oh yeah.
They could have purchased that for $5. I don't know how much.
Just something. Like, it was shocking to me that they had literally almost nothing coming out in
and Boba Fett is not really making a wave right now. Like, it's very lukewarm. I can't imagine the viewership is all that great for the Boba Fett show. It just seems very kind of dead.
I think there can be a lot of people pulling their subscriptions. I kind of need it for what I do, but I mean, there's no reason to be subscribed to Disney Plus until March. In my opinion.
These kids, though, they might kill their parents. I don't know if the parents could. Encanto, that's what people are watching on repeat right now. These kids might riot against their parents if they try to cancel.
That is true. One of the people I follow on Twitter did post that he said, my child is responsible for watching 3 of the Luca, and we're watching it 300 times, and he had put this picture of his little kid looking at it.
Yeah, so that's what we've always said too. Like, that's the difference between HBO Max, which arguably has put out some of the best original content, just quality wise. Most things HBO Max does is good, but they're just not, still, even all this time later, they're not gaining those big subscriber counts. And I think it's just that rewatch that Disney Plus has. Kids, specifically children, are notorious for rewatches. They grab something they love and they want to watch it just over and over. So Disney just inherently has that advantage that even if they don't have a bunch of new great content, they have the rewatchability on their service. And especially with kids, they're like, no, I want to watch this. I don't want to watch that new thing. Just putting Kanto back on.
I know as a kid, that was definitely the case with me, watching, Little Mermaid, American Tail, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. watch those over and over
especially
and over
a kid growing up in the age of the Renaissance. I was rewatching Lion King constantly. I was rewatching Aladdin constantly.
One of the weird one that I watched tons and tons and tons was Sound of Music, which is like random for a little kid, but I watched that over and over and over.
Well, my weird one was the Poltergeist, so Pixar is going to have a theatrical release because I think Disney will not put Lightyear to Disney Plus. I
hope not.
I can't imagine they will. I mean, Toy Story, everyone makes, they've all made so much money that even though this isn't a Toy Story film, I can't imagine they would risk not trying to capitalize on Toy Story box office. I would be actually shocked if they chose to put Lightyear to Disney Plus. But
yeah,
how are you feeling about Turning Red?
Well, you can see my my wallpaper on my phone. I am very excited about it. I think it looks so cute. I that it's going to be talking about mental health and this little girl, and I think she kind of reminds me of Lilo a little bit, and just being sort of awkward and weird, and I think it looks really cute. What do you think?
I think I love what they're doing with Mei Mei specifically. I think she looks really fun. And I think she feels already like a pretty relatable character to a lot of people, a lot of grown-ups even, as well as kids, like remembering that. I love the boy band thing. I love that her and her little group of friends are way into this K-pop band.
Yeah. And you don't see that many, I don't know, movies, animated films set in sort of current times like this, and of course you have Lilo and Stitch, you have Big Hero 6, you have some, but usually they're in some kind of fantasy world of some kind or something like that.
So they're current day maybe, but we don't really know because they're not on Earth, not on our Earth at least. So I am excited for Turning Red. The trailer wanes for me. Some parts I think look really fun, some parts I'm like, we'll see. But I'm hopeful for it. I'm hopeful for those issues you mentioned. Luca aside, Pixar, especially recently, is just, they're always really good at giving you that entertainment level on the top, and then giving you a lot more to think about underneath. So it's always fun, but also has more to really like chew on. And that's when I personally think Pixar is at its best, when we have the inside outs of the world. That's funny, that's fun, you have these lovable characters, it's bright, it's beautiful, but there's a lot more going on. And I think the potential is definitely here. Plus, I'm interested in the cultural aspects. I feel like this is a great way to do it as well, because it seems like we're not going super heavy. It's not an Asian fable of some sort. She just is, and it's part of her heritage. So it's kind of just there to be a part of it, but it's not like the full story. And I think that will be really nice as well to get a story like that.
Yeah. The one that I had more of the issue with compared to when you say with Luca, I had more issues with Soul, actually. I just felt like the story got really messy, and I admire the ambition, and I didn't dislike it. I gave it a positive review, but I just like Wolfwalkers a lot better. And so that kind of soured me a little bit. but and I was super hyped for it because I love Pete Docter's movies so much. So it was a little bit disappointing to me, but it was still a very ambitious and interesting film. And so but then Luca came, and it was just sort of a soft, peaceful,
like Turning Red could be
film.
I feel like they're the best when they're in between Luca and Soul.
I think so.
Like when they're a little bit deeper than Luca, but they're a little more fun than Soul. Like when they find that middle ground between those two is when Pixar is really firing on all engines. I think Turning Red seems like maybe it has the potential at least to fit right in that, like maybe a little bit lighter, but I think there's enough in there that we could really get something special.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give this a 4. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3. I have a little bit of hesitancy, but I am excited.
Yeah. So speaking of DreamWorks, now we have The Bad Guys coming out 4/22. And this is Mr. Wolf, Mr. Snake, Mr. Piranha, Mr. Shark, and Miss Tarantula hatch a plot to pull off the ultimate heist. And I love the animation in the trailer that we've gotten so far. It's got that kind of hybrid 2D, 3D look to it, which I love, whether it's Captain Underpants or Spiderverse or Mitchell's vs. Machines. I love that style. And so it's very exciting to see that coming from DreamWorks. And like we said, they've had such a rough stretch for a long time, basically at like a direct to DVD level as far as their films, in my opinion. And now we get this, and I am so hopeful that this is good. It looks pretty funny to me. So I'm hopeful it's based on a book. What did you think of this trailer?
Yeah, so this trailer, that's what I was saying when we talked about him earlier a little bit, is I'm hopeful, but still a little bit nervous. The comedy wanes already in that trailer for me on like it lands and then it's like, So once we get to the film, I anticipate I'll probably be in that same boat unless it's way funnier than I expect. I like the concept though. I really think the idea is a lot of fun. I do like the animation. And I like a little bit of a conflicted hero, if you will. I like the anti-heroes, especially in animation. We don't get them all that often, these kind of morally gray lead characters in family oriented animation.
Yeah, and it does have kind of Wreck-It Ralph vibes in that way.
Yeah,
like
so I think there's a lot of potential here too.
It does have a great cast: Sam Rockwell, Awkwafina, Anthony Ramos. So it's got a fun cast. I just hope it'll be good. I hope it'll be funny. We'll see. I'm gonna be bold and give it a 3.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna go a 2.
All right, we have DC League of Super Pets. This is from Illumination. It's on the 20th. It's Crypto, the super dog, and Superman are inseparable best friends, sharing the same superpowers and fighting crime side by side in Metropolis. However, Crypto must master his own powers for a rescue mission when Superman is kidnapped. What do you think about this one?
I'm not in love with that trailer at all. I don't know. I mean, The Rock always seems like he's having fun. That's kind of my most positive part about it. I'm not really looking forward to DC League of Super Pets, to be honest. It gives me Secret Life of Pets vibes to an extent. Add on top of that, because even Kevin Hart is in it, right? Kevin Hart is one of the voices here too.
Yeah. It actually isn't Illumination. I thought it was, but it's Warner Brothers, Animation.
Right? Yeah,
sorry
it's
about
Warner
that.
Animation. Yeah. I mean, I can understand why you were thinking Illumination though, because it gives off Secret Life of Pets vibes heavily in that trailer, even in animation style. This seems like it should have gone to HBO Max as an exclusive to me rather than a theatrical. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to it. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes shoot, just lost me what was the show that they made a movie off of that was DC characters?
Teen Titans Go to the Movie.
Yes, Teen Titans Go to the Movie. If it's meta kind of like that and funny, like that one, then I could enjoy it, but I don't know. It looks harmless but generic.
I would say I was not looking forward to Teen Titans Go to the Movies heading into the theater, and then I ended up really enjoying it and having a lot of fun with it. So DC, maybe you can prove me wrong again, but as of right now, this is another one that's I'm less excited for it than the Bad Guys, but it's still right around that. Sure, maybe like a 1.5.
I agree. So yeah, I'd probably give 1.5, maybe a 2 if I'm being generous. Okay, then we have the Bob's Burger movie, and this on the 27th, currently at least. The Belchers trying to save the restaurant from closing as a sinkhole forms in front of it, while the kids try to solve a mystery that could save their family's restaurant. Now, I have tried to get into Bob's Burgers multiple times. I have failed. I don't know. I feel like people need to tell me these are the good ones, and maybe that will get me into it. I don't know. I just don't think it's funny. And I certainly don't think it's anywhere in the discussion with The Simpsons, that's for sure. But you know, I mean, this will be fine for the fans. And that's who it's made for, and they'll enjoy it. I mean, they can't put it directly to Disney Plus because it's a Fox property, so it would go to HBO Max. So that's why it has to get a theatrical. Otherwise, it does seem like this would be perfect for streaming.
I agree. This is one that probably would have gone there if the rights weren't wobbly. I don't watch Bob's Burgers, so I'm indifferent towards the Bob's Burgers movie. Hope it's good for the fans, but
right, exactly.
My personal excitement is like a 1 because it's not on my radar.
Right. I mean, I'm a little bit happy to see a 2D animated film. That's the only real joy.
Yeah, that is the champion for Bob's Burgers. Is it's a 2D animation. I wish the 2D animation looked a little better, but you know, it is what it is.
It is I just didn't think compared to I don't think I'm like a prude when it comes to animation. I like Rick and Morty, and this was no Rick and Morty. I don't know. I don't enjoy it. So anyway, so we have Lightyear in June 17th, the story of Buzz Lightyear and his adventures to infinity and beyond. I don't understand this. I mean, maybe I'm stupid. I don't get it. Like, supposedly the director said this was about the show that Andy liked to watch. But it's about the real person, not the show, or it is what Andy likes, because it does not look like something Andy would like. When you're talking first Toy Story movie, it's like they've got Starman playing and it's all serious, and you know, like they have a different voice for why. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And people are like, "Wow, what's wrong with you? Why don't you get it?" And I still don't get it. Explain it to me. I don't understand. It's about the real Lightyear, but it's the one that Andy watched the show of.
I guess so. I mean, it's kind of how I'm interpreting it. Like, the show is based on this man that was actually whatever, an astronaut.
Does the real man actually meet like Emperor Zurg? That's in the show that Andy watched with Emperor Zurg. And then this is the real man who the show was I can't imagine there's
any sort of Emperor Zurg in the real world. I mean,
he's Buzz Lightyear's dad canonically. Like, what?
Be very shocked if Emperor Zurg shows up in Lightyear at all, unless maybe like a reference at the end as they're creating the show or something. I don't know. It feels kind of biopic. This is Pixar's biopic of their fictional character for Lightyear. I mean, I knew right away you wouldn't like it because the trailer gave First Man vibes heavily, and I can't imagine it wasn't intentional. Like, I
agree.
The look, everything about that trailer was very First Man, like even more so than the other.
And I mean, that's what was confusing, because why would Andy like First Man? He's a little child.
I mean, in usual form, at the least, it looks stunning. I mean, the animation looks really beautiful. If we actually get to go to space, I think that will be a lot of fun, because we've gone to space kind of in Pixar films, but I don't know, getting like a that kind of visual idea from Pixar could be a lot of fun.
I mean, WALL-E, we went to space.
Yes, and WALL-E is a delight. Although I don't think Pixar Lightyear is going to be anything like WALL-E. But I don't know. I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I'll never count Pixar out. I've yet they don't have a movie that I hate of theirs. I just don't get it. And I guess I don't know what it is with me in sci-fi these days. I don't get most of it. I'm like, what is happening here? And I guess the thing about it that really confused me was the fact that the director said this was based on the character that Andy was a fan of.
I do wonder, especially with these trailers, though. I mean, how accessible is this going to be to children?
Yeah.
It definitely seems like a more adult leaning Pixar.
Yeah, I don't think kids are jamming it out to Starman.
I mean, even more so than Soul, at least from a marketing standpoint, Soul at least had an appeal to kids. Like when you watch the marketing, we had, little 23 and we had the cat, and even the animation style was more jovial. The film itself, I don't know how accessible Soul is still to this day for children. At least I don't know that they connect with that message. But Lightyear, right off the bat, it definitely feels like it's made for adults. But we'll see, I guess. Maybe the second trailer.
That's fine if they want to make a movie for adults. I don't have a problem with that. But I just think I'm just still confused about what it really is. And I feel like they have a road to climb in helping people understand what the heck this movie is.
Yeah, I assume we'll get a second trailer probably somewhere around Turning Red, maybe, rather than just that teaser.
I would, if it was me, I would do like a little featurette. Introduced to the world of whatever, or like you'd have Tim Allen's Buzz Lightyear narrating the featurette, explaining what's going on. I think that would help a lot.
I do think it's a little weird that they stopped the phrase at the end of that trailer. Like they're just like to infinity, and then they cut it. I don't know. I think that's kind of a weird choice because that's like the one thing to really hook people back to the Toy Story. Like if you want to bank on the Toy Story box office love and you want to get Toy Story fans hyped and involved, I don't know, you have to have a couple tie-ins more than just his outfit.
Agreed. I'm giving it a 2.
I'm going to go 3. Yeah. I'm a little more excited than you, Rachel.
All right. Then we have Minions: The Rise of Gru on July 1st. The untold story of one 12-year-old's dream to become the world's greatest supervillain. So I am glad that they are going back to Gru, because the previous Minions movie, which I hated, didn't have very much Gru at all until the very ending. And it's just better. Like the Minions are a decent side character for comic relief, but when they're the main subjects, I want to die. And I thought that first Minions movie was terrible. I hated it. It was terribly written. It was terribly done. I didn't like it. This one, I'm so tired of seeing these trailers for 3 years. Please put me out of my misery.
Yeah, no, I am not excited for this trailer at all. No. I don't know. I've never really been one for even the Despicable Me films. They're not my favorite at all.
Yeah.
And that Minions, I did not like. It was very strange. The structure of that first Minions movie was really weird.
I mean, they spent all that time going to Villain Con, and then once they're in England, that whole plot line is basically forgotten and doesn't mean
it's literally
anything.
Like it was like 3 episodes of a television series that they strung together for a movie. Like it was disjointed stories. I don't know. It was not good.
And really kind of tawdry. And most of the jokes were kind of gross. And I mean, just off-putting to me at least.
No.
I don't need to see a Minion in a thong. That's for sure.
And you're going to get more of that buffoonery in this Minions. And I agree. That's the thing with spin-offs so often, is that people gravitate towards side characters. It just kind of happens naturally because they get more room to be over the top, or they get more room to be funny, whereas oftentimes the lead has to be more central. So it's easy to gravitate towards like these fun characters off to the side. That doesn't mean they need the focus to suddenly be on them. And I think that's what studios, they get mixed up. They're like, oh, everybody loves this, let's make a movie just about this. And we're like, oh, no. Like, this is, we don't want this. Okay. And Minions is the perfect example of that. Except, you know what? again, what do we know? The Illumination will probably make $1 billion with Minions Rise of Gru. The merchandising is off the charts for these Minions. So what do we know?
I think so. It probably will be the next $1 billion movie after Spider-Man.
Oh, I mean, the way Sing 2 performed, at least I liked Sing 2. This, I don't know about that.
I give it a 0.
Oh,
I have no.
Okay, I was going 1, and Rachel just said, "Screw the scale. We're going even lower."
All right, so then we have another one that has been talked about forever is Blazing Samurai, supposedly coming out on the 22nd, an action-packed animated comedy for all the family inspired by Mel Brooks' timeless classic Blazing Saddles. Hank, a lovable dog with a head full of dreams about becoming a samurai, sets off in search of his destiny. I mean, we haven't gotten a trailer for this. It has been, I don't know how long. I mean, practically, I think the whole time that I have been on YouTube, this has been talked about, Blazing Samurai. And I'm not that big a fan of Blazing Saddles. So
good. I'm not the only hot take. I think overrated, especially on Mel Brooks films. I'm like,
I mean, I would way rather watch Young Frankenstein any day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My brother loved Blazing Saddles.
I mean, a lot of people love it.
Something about, because it has a lot of flatulence humor.
Yes,
and when you're like, I don't know, when you're like a 10 to 15-year-old boy, I feel like that's like prime for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one is a 1 for me. I mean, we just don't, maybe if we had a trailer and it looked funny, but
maybe. And what is this? This is from Paramount, yes?
Yeah, I believe so. But I think it'll go right there with Rumble, which I didn't see. I haven't seen yet.
Oh, you never watched Rumble?
I didn't watch it. I was too busy with Christmas movies.
Well, you're not missing much. So there's that.
Okay, so then we have Luck. And the curtain is pulled back on the millennia-old battle between the organizations of good luck and bad luck that secretly affect our daily lives. We don't have a trailer for this or much information. What do you think of that plot?
I think, honestly, it sounds okay. It's another one from Paramount. And this one is actually already confirmed going to Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, it's Skydance Animation. This is their first movie that they've done. Yeah, so this is produced by John Lasseter. So it's a little bit controversial in that way, because he's president of Skydance now. And they did have not this one, but another one that Emma Thompson quit working for because she didn't want to be associated with John Lasseter. I personally kind of feel like if he was up to his old shenanigans, we probably would have heard about it. So that kind of gives me hope that he's, behaving correctly, I guess, or learned. And I try not to hold the film accountable for one producer's,
a producer specifically, rather than, somebody more directly related on the project and working on it. Honestly, I think the concept sounds really interesting to me. Apple TV Plus, they're not a big streaming service by any means. Nobody has it. I don't have Apple TV Plus. But they're another one. I really appreciate what they're doing, though, because they seem to really be another one that has quality material mostly, and they're taking risks on some of their stuff. Obviously, they were the home for Wolfwalkers. They seem to really be trying to make a platform of quality material at the least. So that also does give me hope.
It's true. I mean, I love Ted Lasso so much. I loved Schmigadoon, was hilarious. And Wolfwalker's so good.
Coda.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Coda.
Acquired by Apple. They acquired the fan award that Rachel didn't like this year, but they did acquire the Cha-Cha.
Oh, yeah, which is the perfect spot.
Sundance.
for that. That I would say I was more mixed on it. I didn't give it fresh, but I didn't hate it or something. But
so that also gives me hope, is that, you know, Apple TV Plus seems to be really curating like quality content on their platform.
And it has a female writer and director, which is cool in animation. You don't see that every day. I don't
see that often.
And you know, the cast is solid. Jane Fonda, Whoopi Goldberg are in it. So and John Ratzenberg, he's in it. You don't hear him that often on Pixar. Simon Pegg, a Lil Ray Howery. So it has a pretty good cast. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm excited, and hopefully it'll be fun to see what a new, kind of like with Ron's Gone Wrong. It was interesting to see kind of what a new player in the field had to say.
And I really enjoyed Ron's Gone Wrong. Though I don't think this is going to be like that. I think it's going to be a different feel probably. But yeah, I'd say about a 3. Sounds good to me.
Okay, then we have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is Puss in Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burned through 8 of his 9 lives. Puss sets out on an epic journey to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives. It sounds like he needs to go into luck.
Like so DreamWorks is back again.
I actually like the original Puss in Boots. It's one of my favorites in the Shrek franchise. I think it's funny. It has some good animated action. I think that I've long said that I think that Antonio Banderas and Puss in Boots is one of the best uses of celebrity voice casting that you could have. That is a perfect fit between character and a voice.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, is DreamWorks desperate? It just feels a little bit like they're pulling at anything because Shrek is coming back to, I don't know, it feels like they're like, let's go back to what worked for us in the 2000s. What was popular in our prime. Like you said, I liked the first person. The synopsis sounds kind of funny. You know, a cat has burned through 8 of their 9 lives. I'm nervously hopeful that it's fun like the first one. That's the thing with these like delayed sequels that come out, you know, over a decade after their predecessor, are so hit or miss. Every now and then we get one that's really fun and really funny, but then there's 2 or 3 others that I'm like, oh, okay.
Plus, I feel like this was kind of rushed. I mean, it's not one of those projects that you've been hearing about for 2-3 years that people have been working on. I feel like it just got announced like a couple months ago, and then we're getting it in September.
Supposedly it's coming out in September.
That doesn't mean they haven't been working on it for years. We just might not have heard about it, but I feel like we would have heard about it earlier. I don't know. It's just, so that makes me a little nervous too, but I'm going to give it a 2. I hope it will be a surprise, but we'll see. What would you give it?
Yeah, 2. 2 sounds good. Yeah, because I'm not like, it could be fun, but I need to see. I'm nervous.
All right. So then we have our Disney offering for the year. We have Strange World on the 23rd of November. It's the original action adventure journeys deep into an uncharted and treacherous land where fantastical creatures await the legendary Clods, a family of explorers whose differences threaten to topple their latest and by far most crucial mission. So this does have a little bit of sort of Wild Thornberrys feel to it, which I really enjoy. I think it's about a family of explorers, or even the Croods maybe a little bit. We only have one concept animation piece that has been released. But you know, I'll always be excited for a Disney animated film. And I mean, I always love their musicals more than the non-musicals. But I would, you know, I'm still gonna give this like a 3. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, typically Disney kills it with their Thanksgiving offering. It's not often that I outright dislike their Thanksgiving films, certainly. And in this current revival that is ongoing, I mean, they haven't really, there's nothing in here that I think is terrible. Like in this current age of Disney, I think they have been really consistently strong with every output. So what's not to trust with the current direction? So yeah, I mean, it's hard to go like 4 when we haven't gotten much, but at this point, 3 for sure.
Yeah. Okay, then we have Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse Part 2. This is on October 7th.
Oh, Part 1.
Part 1. Why did I say Part 2? Part 1. Then we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 on the 7th. And Miles Morales returns for the next chapter of the Oscar-winning Spider-Verse saga, an epic adventure that will transport Brooklyn's full-time, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man across the multiverse to join forces with Gwen Stacy and a new team of Spider people to face off with a villain more powerful than anything they have ever encountered. So I didn't know that they were doing a Part 1 and Part 2. So that reveal in the trailer was very exciting to me. I guess other people knew and it wasn't as big a surprise, but I was, what? You know, it's pretty excited.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm super pumped for this. I loved the original. The only thing that makes me a tiny bit nervous is some of the people behind America, the motion picture, are working on this one, including the writer. But I have trust in Lord and Miller, even though they were also producing America the Motion Picture. But they've had certainly more hits than misses. So yes. I'm hopeful, and it's my most anticipated superhero movie of the year, and one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. I love Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was amazing. And the trailer looked good. I don't know if it's just because I love the first one so much that I was like, okay, like, yeah, I'm on board, but it was just kind of a teaser. So
do you know about it being 2 parts before?
I didn't know that it was 2 parts. So yeah, it's interesting. Will people drag it over the coals like they did Dune? Will it be will they cut it in the middle of the story and make people mad like Dune? I don't know, but
hopefully it'll be more like Infinity War, versus the people didn't seem to care that was 2 parts.
Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
It's all one big thing. They just sliced it up.
So I give this a 4. Yeah. I'm really excited.
No, yeah. How can you not be excited for Across the Spider-Verse? Come on now.
Yeah, I don't understand. All right. So then we have in December, we have Pinocchio, a darker version of the classic children's fairy tale of a wooden puppet that transforms into a real living boy. And we got the trailer or teaser just this last week for this. And it's Guillermo del Toro. I don't know how you can't be at least intrigued what's going to happen. I'm excited.
I mean, I thought the trailer looked really good already. I was instantly. So this is my other like 4 with Spider-Man. I don't know. I love Guillermo del Toro. Most times he's another director that very rarely fully misses for me. Of course, he has like varying degrees, but at least, like you said, how can you not be intrigued whenever he's actually directing? Because, he's one of those directors that's a name gets like tagged on because he's producing something and they're like, oh, put Guillermo on there. And you're like, oh, no. But when he's actually directing, and this is his first animated film, he dabbles in fairy tale like storytelling all the time. Like in all of his darker films, even Nightmare Alley, I felt had a very storybook fable, especially with that ending. Yeah. It's a very fable ending.
Well, in Shape of Water, very fable.
Of course, Pan's Labyrinth is a dark fairy tale. So he really likes this fairy tale dark storytelling. So to see him get to do it on like an actual fairy tale and in animation, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. It's gonna be interesting to see how it compares with the Geppetto movie, that we're getting into.
Did you like that last Pinocchio we got? Did you see it? The one that got like randomly nominated for hair and makeup and stuff? Yeah.
Was it good?
I didn't see it either. I didn't watch it.
No. But this seems like a take on the book, not a remake of the Disney film.
And it's once again like a stop motion going to Netflix. So there you go.
All right. So then we have, well, what would you, I think I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4 for me.
Yeah, 4. All right. So then we have Mario in December, and it's a plumber named Mario travels through an underground labyrinth with his brother Luigi to try save a captured princess. So this is based on, of course, the video game. I don't know. What do you think?
Wait, so is Mario? God, is this Illumination? Who is this?
Illumination, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's Illumination, right? Okay. No, I don't know. That cast was way out of whack. I am really shocked by, I mean, so Chris Pratt got cast as a voice actor for 2 different things. This is the lesser egregious one because I don't understand why you would cast Chris Pratt for the voice of Garfield. Like, what has Chris Pratt's career ever given you that says Garfield? I don't know. But whatever, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
I just wish, I don't know why they can't just hire an Italian voice actor for Mario so that we don't get Jared Leto style, caricature work.
I don't understand why they need to hire a celebrity in the first place for this movie. The whole appeal is that it's Mario.
It sells itself.
Yeah, people are watching it because they have an affection for the show. I mean, for the game. And there's just no reason. I can't picture anybody that's like, oh, I wasn't going to see that movie. Oh, Chris Pratt, now I'm going. Like, nobody is going to do that. So what's the point?
There's really none. And they did it up and down the board. Like, they got this full celebrity voice cast. And Nintendo sells themselves. They're one of the biggest, if not maybe the biggest gaming brand in the world. Everyone knows Mario. It's going to be a hit overseas like Illumination does. But I don't know.
The only thing, though, that does give me a tiny bit of hope is because Nintendo has been extremely reluctant to lend out their IPs after the first Super Mario movie was a disaster. And they let a little bit for Wreck-It Ralph and for Pixels, which who knows why on that one.
Yeah.
But very few. I guess they've let a few of their IPs out for films. And so the fact that they trusted Illumination, they must have an idea that appealed to them or something.
So I'm excited that it's animated because especially after the disaster that they tried, there's no need for a Mario movie to ever be live action. I'm sorry. Don't ever make it live action. The only way to do it is go full animated to me. I don't know. I just, with Illumination, seeing how they did like the Grinch and stuff doesn't instill any sort of faith in me.
Yeah.
Seeing how they've adapted actual other property, because most of their stuff is not really adapted, but when they have done adapted Lorax, it's not been good. So their brand of humor, I don't know. It's just, I'm real nervous. I'm way nervous for Mario. This Untitled Mario movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1. Yeah, I mean, it just seems also like a hard property to adapt. You have this plumber, and I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
This plumber collecting coins, like to save. I mean, yeah. We've already skewered this whole idea of like the princess, captured in the thing. Shrek already took that down, so it's hard to like come back. Yeah, the whole concept is very strange. Video games, we already know they're tough. They're tough to adapt, and I don't know that Illumination is the creative visionaries to do a good job.
I have to ask you, this is not animation related. Are you getting worried about Uncharted? I know you're a big Tom Holland guy, but
no, I'm excited. I'm still excited, Rachel. I'm still here.
I hope it's good. I don't know. But all right. What would you give Mario then?
Yeah, a 1.
1, yeah. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Agreed. Then we have Wendell and Wilde, and this is going to be on Netflix. And it's 2 scheming demon brothers, Wendell and Wilde, must face their arch nemesis, the demon-dusting nun sister Helly, and her 2 acolytes, the goth teens of Cat and Royale. And I'm just waiting for everyone to somehow think this is a Tim Burton movie because it's a Henry Selick movie, and the poor man has got no love.
So this is Monkey Paw is also a production, which is the Jordan Peele. I mean, he's in the film as well.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So he's one of the production companies, which makes me interested in it as well. It has a little bit darker of a tone. Of course, it's Henry Selick, Monkey Paw. It's about demons and nuns. I'm really intrigued. I'm interested. It's going to Netflix once again. Sounds cool to me. I will definitely be waiting and ready. The artwork looked cool that I saw for it. So
yeah, and it has music by Bruno Calles, who did all of the Tom Moore movies for Studios Cartoon Saloon. So sounds good.
I'm excited. I'm it's probably a 3 without much to go on. Just on concept and talent alone.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Escape from Hat. Just a desperate rabbit rallies an unexpected band of allies to help him escape from the inside of a magician's hat and return to the human boy he loves. And this is directed by Mark Osborne, who did the first Kung Fu Panda. Okay. So that is interesting, I think. It sounds like kind of a clever story. I guess it's based on a book.
Okay.
And this will also be going to Netflix.
Yeah, it's another Netflix film. It's another one we don't know much about. These last group of them are in limbo land a little bit. They're coming sometime, but we don't know too much.
This was 20th Century Fox and then acquired by Netflix.
Okay.
It has been in production for a long time. It started at 2017. And then the animation got started in 2018. So it's been a long time coming.
That gives me a little bit more pause, I guess. But I hope, I don't know. It sounds like it could be fun. It could be like a fun offering. 20th Century Fox does well enough, I'd say, for the most part. I don't know. Maybe like a 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, then we have The Amazing Maurice. The story follows Maurice, a streetwise cat who has the perfect money-making scam. He finds a dumb-looking kid who plays a pipe and has his very own horde of rats who are strangely literate. So, I hate things with rats. It's so gross. Oh, sorry. I mean, even Ratatouille, sometimes I struggle with the rats, but because they're so realistic looking. But it's a cat, Maurice, the Streetwise Cat.
This is also an adaptation, right? Of a book or a story of some kind, I believe.
Yeah, based on the 2001 book, The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents.
Okay. I think The Amazing Maurice is a better title. I'm glad they chopped off the last part.
I'm not a rodent person.
Yeah, me either, actually, at all. That's why it took me years, actually, to watch Ratatouille. I didn't watch it until I did that reaction on my channel because I just rats. Is this 2D? Do you know?
Looks like CG.
Oh, is it CG? Okay.
Sky Cinema.
I know it's a UK production.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it could be cute or could be a hot mess to me.
Sky Cinema is the people who did Extinct.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe 1.5. No,
but it has a very British cast. It's got Emilia Clarke and Gemma Arterton and Hugh Bonneville.
Except, let me just say, Emilia Clarke, post Game of Thrones career, gives me a little bit of pause. I love her to death, but she gives me a little bit of pause when she's in a project.
Oh my gosh!
So,
Terminator Genesis.
No,
and then she was in that Me Before You, which I hated.
The Last Christmas. Solo.
Oh man.
I
give this a 1 for the rats and also for
Extinct. You watched Extinct too, didn't you?
I did. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good.
What was this concept? Why are they donuts?
Weird.
Why are they donut animals? I didn't understand.
can't even remember.
As I was going towards, I was like, Netflix. Okay, I'm gonna go with one of the two, either the Escape to the Outback or whatever, or Extinct. And I was like, I can get more on board with actual little animals than these
you made
little
the
donut
right choice. Okay, so what are you gonna? I'm gonna give it a 1.
Yeah, 1.5. I'll give it a little nudge, but no.
Okay. We have High in the Clouds. This is a squirrel embarks on a journey to find an animal sanctuary. And this is based on another one based on a book.
Okay.
Let's see here. It's based on a book by Paul McCartney. Random.
Rachel.
This is also going to be at Netflix.
Yeah.
And it says here in the article, Paul McCartney animated film High in the Clouds headed to Netflix. Per statement, High in the Clouds tells the story of a teenage squirrel named Whirl who finds himself pulled into a ramshackle gang of teenage rebels who live high in the clouds after he accidentally antagonizes Gretsch the owl, their tyrannical leader, who steals the voice of anyone who upstages her. That sounds like a lot. It says, but it does have 7 or 8 new songs from Paul McCartney for the movie, including one featuring Lady Gaga. McCartney will provide original songs and music for the Netflix film, although it's unclear if that includes any previously reported tracks. So
that should up your excitement a little bit. It's a musical, Rachel, by Paul McCartney.
I mean, I don't know anybody that's not at least a little excited for 8 new songs from Paul McCartney. But yeah, in a movie, an animated film, it says, we are thrilled to be partnering with Netflix, McCartney said of the project. They complement what is already an amazing team with Gaumont, and we can think of no one better to be working with to bring our film to a global audience. I've always loved animated films, and this is a hugely important passion project for me. I can't wait for the world to see it.
All right.
Look at that. Sir Paul McCartney, animated film lover.
Look at that. At first, that sounded real dark for a second, because when they said they're living high in the clouds after he angered an owl, I was like, oh, he's dead. Okay. Right. The and then also is a ghost.
Also describing the kid as dumb looking is kind of mean.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be. I mean, that article certainly did its job hyping me up a little bit more for the film, because at first I was like, what in the world? I don't know. Maybe like a 2-ish.
Just for the music alone, I am going to be bold and say a 3. But and he says it's his passion project.
Yeah,
passion project. I know. I'm so nice. So then we have My Father's Dragon, which is also based on a book. A lot of books.
Yes.
This is a young boy meets a mysterious cat, and they embark on a grand adventure to Wilde Island, where they search for a captive dragon. Another Netflix movie.
Another one.
And this one, This one is done,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's Cartoon Saloon, so that makes me really excited.
As I say, instantly that ups the excitement. Like if it's from Cartoon Saloon, I can't imagine it's going to be bad.
Yeah,
they haven't produced a bad film at all, really. I don't think.
Yeah, so that does make me more excited. Cartoon Saloon. Let's see here. If it says the director. The film is directed by Cartoon Saloon's Nora Twomey. Twomey also directed the previous films, co-directed Song of the Sea with Tom Moore, and The Breadwinner was, her movie. So, and that was really good. It says the summary of the novel is a young boy runs away from home to rescue an abused baby dragon held captive to serve as a free 24-hour, 7 days a week ferry for the lazy wild animals living on Wilde Island. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, and you can see some of the concept art at least on online. yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be super excited for anything Cartoon Saloon. So, I'm going to give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, I was like, it has to be like a 3.5. Sounds good to me too. I mean, until they do me wrong, I'll be excited for all of their films.
So the last one we have is Chippendale Rescue Rangers, but is that actually a movie or is it a TV show?
Is it? I saw it listed as an animated film of 2022.
Let's see here. It says
let's investigate.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers is an upcoming American live action CGI animated adventure comedy film based on a continuation of the animated TV series of the same name. The film was directed by Akiva Schaffer from a screenplay by Dan Greger, Doug Mann, from an original story, Barry Schwartz.
Wait, so it's a hybrid?
So it's based on and a continuation of
the show. But the show is fully animated and they decided to go hybrid for the movie.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Very strange. Oh, my gosh.
Years after the Rescue Rangers TV series has ended, Chippendale must re-team to save a friend from video piracy. I mean, they must be nervous about this after the Tom and Jerry, although that didn't do that badly at the box office.
And HBO Max, it did okay. But, yeah, this is going to Disney Plus at least.
Yeah, a live action feature length.
Oh, this is the one. No,
you're gonna have them talk.
Oh God, no. Yeah, maybe I'll go like Rachel 0. Actually, if it was, oh God, if it was fully animated and just kind of a Disney Plus movie,
I don't know if they talk in the show.
Oh my gosh. Disaster. Upcoming disaster. When can we move past this hybrid, because it just is still not working? I'm sorry. I don't know.
They did have him talk in the show.
Okay.
I didn't think Chippendale talked, but I guess in the show they do. But they have Tress MacNeille and Corey Burton doing the voices on the show. And they have them now. It's John Mulaney and Annie Samberg. So you got to replace the voice actors.
Of course, always, right?
Yeah.
Celebrities always pushing the voice of actors out of work.
So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. This will be a skip. This on Disney Plus for me. No, thank you. I mean, I guess I haven't even watched the show yet. I'm not the target audience.
Why? If you're continuing an animated show, why don't you make an animated film? Like, yeah, maybe Spirited Untamed wasn't great or whatever, but was that a continuation of the show, or was that just like show level animation quality?
I think it's actually different characters. I don't think it's the same characters from the show, but it's in like the world of the show.
Say what you will about that, but at least they had the sense to keep it animated when they decided to make it. Why are you making it a hybrid? No,
that's true.
Is it hybrid like CG, or are they going Tom and Jerry style where it kind of looks like little 2D characters?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because Tom and Jerry was terrible. Like, I was excited for those little 2D characters at least, and it was terrible. So
yeah,
even you were disappointed by Tom and Jerry, weren't you?
I liked it more than most, but it wasn't great. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, and then I guess Seth Rogen is going to have a cameo, which sounds really cringe to me. God, principal photography commenced on March 16th, 2021. It does have Larry Fong as the cinematographer, who's like, what's he doing in this? He's done like Batman v Superman and
okay
300. What is he doing?
It's gonna be a dark and gritty. Let's bring in Zack Snyder to direct the Chippendale Rescuers movie. Oh Lord, what a weird movie.
Maybe we were too hard on Mario. At least
maybe Mario is gonna be a masterpiece next to Chippendale Rescuers. Oh God.
So okay, well, we did it. That's the
Yay! So what are your top 3, Rachel?
My top 3 are Turning Red, Probably My Father's Dragon and Strange World.
Okay.
Probably my top 3.
My top 3, I think, would probably
or me and Spiderverse.
Oh, yeah, no, I was a little bit shocked you left that Spiderverse. Yeah, I was like, I think I would go with Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, Pinocchio, and My Father's Dragon.
Yeah, that's
probably the 3 I'm most excited for.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you're listening what you're most excited for. We'd love to hear in the comment section or on Twitter. Let us know what you're looking forward to this year in animation. Hopefully, don't get any of them moved to 2023. But Larry, how can people find you and your content?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at ChiliBoyYT or here on YouTube and on Instagram, both at ChiliBoy Productions.
Yes, and you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also at the Hallmarkies podcast and the Francast. Take a look at those. We'd really appreciate it. And make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you are watching. And if you get through the whole thing, because it's a long video, do hashtag Larry Rach 2022. Then we'll know that you actually listened to the whole thing.
There's good stuff all throughout.
Yeah,
I think we're quite entertaining and funny. So listen through.
Yes, so put that. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. I appreciate that so much. Also have the merch store, which has hashtag Animation Junkie shirts that are super fun. Take a look at that. And also check out the Patreon group. We have a lot of fun over there. And thanks so much, Larry. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.